Welcome to Boston Bannerbound. I wish that it was a better topic to talk about, but Celtics are now on a 3-game losing streak. They just lost to the Nets in Brooklyn. And I'm not quite sure why. So let's get into what happened tonight, or what we saw tonight. Going into this matchup, the Celtics had the longest active running win streak over the Nets. It was 10, and it was 5 straight in Brooklyn. So that obviously ended. They lost the game 109 to 102. Brooklyn, I mean, I guess we got to give them credit. Honestly, they're 7th in the East, so it's not like they're out of the running for the postseason. Injury report, Baines was out, Irving was out. I don't really think Irving was actually hurt. I think he just had a bruised ego, and that's why he sat out. But we'll get to Irving in a moment. And Marcus Smart, who is the defensive identity for the Celtics, was out tonight. So that means that Jaylen Brown, who's been having a bruised ego himself, and Terry Rozier, who's been crying about minutes, got the start tonight. And neither one of them really capitalized on their minutes or their starting role, in my opinion. However, Brown did have 22 points for the game. He came in clutch a little bit in the fourth quarter, but it was too little too late, as we all saw. But not really capitalizing when they're getting their opportunities to shine. But again, the Brooklyn Nets, they had 7 players out. So there's no excuse for injuries, no excuse for backup players. There's no excuse. The game did not start off well, and it didn't get any better. The first play of the game was a turnover by, yes, you guessed it, Terry Rozier. And then back-to-back turnovers. Brad Stevens immediately called a timeout, and it didn't really get any better going forward. 8-0 run by the Nets. Tatum, though, he was stepping up, so you got to see that Tatum that we saw from last year, who really had a lights-out first year last year when he had to step up in the absence of Irving and Hayward. So you really saw that Tatum kind of come back a little bit tonight. Wanamaker, Ojale, Tice, they came in early in the first quarter because Horford had 2 fouls early, so they needed Tice as a big man to come in. They trailed by 2 after the first quarter. D'Angelo, a.k.a. I call him the sandwich shop, because I don't know if it's just a local thing like in Newton or Waltham, but there's this sub shop called D'Angelo's. So anytime I hear the name D'Angelo, I think of the sub shop. So D'Angelo Russell had a lights out game tonight, super uncharacteristic of him. He started hot, stayed hot, got real hot in the third quarter. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But yeah, trailed by 2. They trailed the whole game, the Celtics. Trailed by 2 in the first quarter. They trailed by 1 going into the half. It was 46-45, so really low scoring game to start off. And then third quarter, trouble. It's a third quarter struggle for the Celtics, and I'm not quite sure why this keeps happening, but they got outscored 44 points, 44-21 in the third quarter. That is the second most points allowed in a quarter this season. You can't be getting scored on 44 points in one quarter. That's absurd. Absurd. And D'Angelo, sandwich shop Russell, just got ridiculously hot. He had 33 points after the third quarter. Insane. He put up insane numbers. I honestly was confused as to who I was even watching play, because it's, again, the Nets, so it's like, what? Like, what's going on? And then, of course, they put Time Lord in, and Time Lord gets a goaltending call because, listen, at least he's being aggressive. Like, I'm okay with that, because I'd rather have him as a rookie, as a young gun, going after it and blocking people and being super aggressive. I'd rather that goaltending call than a no call, than no effort. So it can't just be one person putting in the effort here. And that's what it looked like when it came down to Tatum. He had 34 points. He had 15 points in the fourth quarter. It's like you can't just rely on one guy. And I think that's also the cancer of Kyrie Irving. And I'm not going to say that I don't like him, because I do. As an individual player, I like Kyrie Irving. He has ridiculously dope handles. He is a phenomenal shooter. He's a great point guard. But on this Celtics team with this dynamic and this roster, I don't see a spot for him. I don't. Even the Brooklyn Nets fans are chanting, Kyrie's leaving. And it's just like, I get it. Kyrie's what, 26? He's young still. He doesn't know how to handle it, maybe. He, in a press conference after the loss in Orlando against the Magic, he sat there and said, my teammates aren't ready to make a playoff run, and it's championship or bust. It's championship or nothing, and that's the type of mentality we should be having. But as someone who's trying to be a leader of a team, to badmouth your own teammates on television isn't the way to do it. You privately discuss it with your teammates in the locker room as a unit. Don't be sitting there fronting for the cameras and acting like it's all or nothing with you on the court or not, because it's not. Because again, if I have to pull up stats from last year, the Celtics were 25-16 without you. You missed 34 consecutive games, all of which were playoffs, and the Celtics were one game away from beating LeBron and going to the finals against the Warriors. So they can do it without you, but having your ball handling skills and your skills in general as a point guard for the Celtics would be beneficial. But you guys need to learn how to play together. That's the key word here. It can't just be one player getting 24 points a night thinking that that's going to win you a game. It's not. It's not. I'm watching this game tonight, and the Nets, so comfortable, so confident, balls to the wall, playing with something to prove, and they proved it tonight. Celtics playing confused, playing scared, no confidence. No one wants to have the ball in their hands. No one wants to take a shot. Too much passing, way too much passing. You want to be like the Spurs and you want to, take plays from Popovich and whatever. But it's like they know when to shoot and when to pass. And the Celtics are having a hard time not doing that extra pass and just going for the bucket. Go in the paint. Just make an effort, draw a foul. It's not that hard to do. But the Celtics are making it look very, very, very difficult. And I'm not quite sure how they can overcome that and what needs to happen for them to turn this around. It's like they'll win 5 games in a row, they'll lose 3 in a row. They'll win 2, they'll lose 4. It's like there needs to be some sort of consistency here. And I'm not quite sure how they're going to find it. They were down 27 points after the third quarter. They ended up cutting the lead to 7 in that fourth, but too little too late. They just couldn't close the game out, and after being down 27 to a team like the Nets who are trying to prove something, it's just not going to happen, especially when you guys aren't playing as a unit. At the end, like mid-fourth quarter, I saw the support. I saw the teamwork. I saw the effort. But you can't just show up for 5 minutes in a game and think that you're going to win a game that way. You need to play 48 minutes that way. And that's really what the Celtics need to just learn how to do from the start to the finish of a game. This third quarter issue that they keep having, you can't dig yourself a hole and expect to have to come out of it in 12 minutes. It's just not going to happen. You can't do it. A notable thing we can take away is Wanamaker got more minutes. He got 3 threes. He was one of the only 4 players in double figures. No, excuse me, 3 players in double figures. Jeez, I thought they were 4, but no. 3 players. Tatum at 34 points. Brown 22. Wanamaker 13 points. Rozier, what's up, bud? 7 points in 25 minutes and you started? That's going against your stats as a starter. I'm not quite sure what happened. what I kind of want to place blame, because everyone wants to place blame somewhere. If I could place blame on why they didn't do well tonight, is this was their third night of a 3-game road trip. They lost all 3. And I honestly feel as though Kyrie Irving being super negative is a huge shot to their ego. I mean, if you have a teammate who's supposed to be your all-star, supposed to be a captain, supposed to be someone who you look towards, and they're sitting there bad-mouthing you guys mid-season, not kind of throwing in the towel, kind of saying, yeah, you guys aren't ready for a playoff run, I'm all set. That's going to bruise some egos. That's going to hurt some people's feelings. And that's kind of hard to come back from a day later and play like that didn't just happen. So if anything, maybe you can say that. They had 21 team assists. The last time they faced the Nets, literally a week ago at the TD Garden, they had a season-high 37 team assists. So you're seeing that they're just not playing together. They're not playing cohesively. The Nets were all energy, all confidence. And the Celtics just looked very confused. Way too many passes. No one really wants to be a shooter. And you can't play that. Celtics now fall 25-18 for the record for the year. We are at that halfway point, and we are nearing the trade deadline, which is February 7th. So will this performance and the last 3 performances give Danny Ainge sort of a kick in the butt to be like, all right, something needs to happen. Something needs to change. We need to trade somebody. I'm not sure who it will be. I'm not sure what they can come up with, but something needs to be done by the trade deadline. They take on the Raptors on Wednesday in the TD Garden, and that's not going to be a cakewalk by any means. However, Kyrie Irving did state that he will be playing, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing at this point. I really couldn't tell you. Right now, the Celtics are tied 1-1 for the series with the Raptors. The Raptors do sit in the 1 spot with a record of 33-12. They have a 5-game win streak going on right now. Celtics have a 3-game losing streak going on right now, and they are 7 games back from the 1-seeded Raptors. So that is going to be a huge test, a huge game. Hopefully the Celtics can pull something out of their butts and make it at least a competitive game, if not a win, in the TD Garden on Wednesday. I will check back in with you to let you know what my thoughts were on Wednesday. Will this be a new Celtics team? Can Brad and Smart make them come together? We'll have to see. It's only halfway. There's a lot more ball to play for the rest of this season, but as it's looking right now, the key word for the Celtics is inconsistency. This was Boston Banner Bound. I'm Brianna Danucci. I will be back with you guys in a few days.